Arcadiology, episode 15, featuring Megaman The Power Battle. Join us as we uncover artifacts from the arcades. My name is Brad, my co-hosts are Sky.
Hey.
Kyle.
Saw dudes.
And Jordan.
Stuffy boy Jordan.
Yeah, it's sound a little rough tonight, Jordan. Gonna make it through?
I can do it, man. I believe in myself. I've been sick for a week and a half now. I'm through the worst of it. Just a little stuffy and some coughing, but I think we can talk some Mega Man.
Yeah, you're in shape to talk about some video games. You can handle that.
I hope so, man. If I die mid-recording, you know why.
We'll just edit that. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll edit you out, replace you with some AI, so we'll take care of it. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's just fine. Or get Mike from Switcheroo. He'll hop in.
Let's do a montage of all the previous episodes and make sentences.
It's gonna be a montage.
Well, you guys ready to talk about some games then?
Always ready.
Yep.
Well, what else you guys been playing? Obviously, you've been playing some Mega Man, but before that, what other games you guys getting into lately?
Dude, I'm not playing anything.
Still.
Again?
Again and still and more. Just
All those
just
words.
Nothing, dude.
I'm not playing this, but have you heard of Helldivers 2?
Yeah, I don't really care for it.
Alright. Well,
I've seen it. It looks like gives me like Star Wars vibes, which I'm not a Star Wars guy.
okay.
So it gives me like some weird Star Wars vibes, and it looks like the physics, everything looks like heavy and like clunky. I don't know. That's my opinion.
Alright, we can brush that one under the rug. I haven't even played it either. I just hear a lot of people talking about it though.
I haven't even heard of it.
Well, Kyle's not playing anything. Sky, Jordan, either you guys playing any games?
So you would think, since I've been sick for a week and a half and I took some days off work and whatnot, that I'd be playing video games nonstop, which is what I would love to do, but there was a period of time there early in this sickness where I felt so terrible that I couldn't even bring myself to grab a controller. But while I was playing some stuff for a little while, it's pretty much just been the Final Fantasy VII Remake still. I'm getting pretty close to the end of it again, so then I can hop into Rebirth after that, but I'm not quite there yet. Maybe like another 8 to 10 hours or so, I'd say. I gotta put into it, and then that'll be done, and I can finally hop on into Rebirth.
Nice.
I mean, I haven't really been playing anything new. Still playing my little phone RPGs from last time. Infinity RPG, I've been playing that a lot. And then, I don't know, every so often, I got back into... You guys ever play Pokemon Unite? It's like that Pokemon MOBA.
I've seen it. I've never actually played it.
Play that a little bit. It's like a super simplified, like, MOBA game, I guess. Nothing too crazy. It has like 3 lanes, like your standard MOBA setting. But I played that for like, I don't know, on and off for a couple days. Haven't really been sticking anything serious lately.
Well, game I've been playing, have you guys ever wondered what it would be like if you mixed Tony Hawk Pro Skater with action hack and slash roguelike?
Literally every day of my life.
I got to hear this.
Dude, it's actually pretty sick. It's called Hellskate. I mean, it's what I just described, but like you skate around like Tony Hawk and stuff. It feels a lot like it. I think one of the developers from Tony Hawk is actually working on it, or one of the creators or something. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere. But yeah, you skate around. There's like the your typical challenges. You gotta collect. Well, you collect Hellskate because that's the name of this game. There's other like challenges. You gotta like grind off the like the grind stoppers, just like your typical stuff like that. Get your high score. But as you're skating around, there's like enemies, so you gotta fight them. You defeat them, and as you beat each level, you get to pick a different perk. Like it'll have, like say you'll do an impossible, shoot a missile out, or if you can get an extra ollie, so you can like double jump basically, or like other stuff like if you manual, it gives you like a multiplier to your next attack. All kinds of crazy stuff like that. But you can like do some pretty sick builds. It's actually a lot of fun.
So is it more focused on like the slashing part or the skating part? Or are they about equal?
That's where it gets a little weird. It's pretty equal, but it's to the point where it doesn't feel like it's connected that well. Because I go into each map and just defeat all the enemies. And once all the enemies are gone, then I go around and like skate and do like the challenges and stuff like that. There's some sort of disconnect there that I feel like I don't know how they would fix. It almost just feels like 2 separate things you're doing, but it's still actually pretty fun doing it.
Yeah, it's 2 things I didn't think you could ever really mix. It just sounds weird.
Yeah, it's such a weird concept, but for some reason it actually works pretty good. And of course, you got like, your actual real music tracks in the background like you would on Tony Hawk. And it's a little heavier though, because, there's a little bit of a story. I don't really follow it. Your guy's like escaping from hell or something and skating through and fighting the demons and stuff like that. But I just
That
kind of,
sounds crazy.
yeah. And you go through each run. And then you have like your temporary progressions, which are those perks. There's all kinds of different things. You get like different clothing. You put stickers on your board that give you like different buffs and stuff. And then you get your permanent ones, which your guy gets tattoos, or you get like new boards, which will give you different weapons. Like you start off with like a sword, like a katana, and then I unlock like these shurikens, so I can use those. You just kind of keep spamming that, and it kind of like auto locks onto enemies, so the combat isn't really extremely skilled, I guess. Mostly it's just dodging the enemies so they don't get you, and then combining it with like other combos. And I don't know, I like it. You guys should at least check it out. It's pretty cool.
Are you on the skateboard the whole time, or do you like jump off the fight and then jump back on and skate away?
You can jump off, but when you're fighting, you're always on your board. As soon as you hit attack, you jump on your board and start skating. So yeah, you're pretty.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it gets a little hard to manage at times because a lot of enemies when you get like in the higher runs. And I'm just you have a dash too, so you can like attack, dash through them. That's kind of how you dodge. And you can use that to like traverse the map too. So if there's like something up high and you can't really reach it, you can kind of like dash, grind on a wall, or like do a wall ride on a wall, jump, hit another rail, dash again. It's actually some pretty crazy combat for what it feels like Tony Hawk.
Now, are there like separate challenges for that? Like, is there a point to do the skating, or is it just skating just because they thought it would be cool to just use that?
I mean, I guess just the movement, the way you move around, I guess. I don't really know. It's kind of hard to. I guess you could technically do it with anything. It could just be like a 3D action game, but.
Yeah. I mean, like, is there like, how like Tony Hawk, you had to go around, collect skate, or you have to do a kickflip off a gap or something like that?
Yeah, they have like all those typical challenges.
Oh, okay.
Instead of skate, it's Hell Skate. So you got to collect the letters HELSK.
All right.
Yeah, so it has all those things, and some of them are similar, some are a little different than what you would get in Tony Hawk, but the same concept, like a collectathon thing for each stage.
Kind of make me want to check this out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's in, I think it's in beta right now still. It's not like, you can get it on Steam, that's where I got. I think it was like $25, something like that. But it's still in like the pre stages. They're still kind of working out the bugs. Like sometimes I like fly out of the map if I get too many perks. Like I had these ones that gave me like jetpacks on my shoes, so I was like flying up real high and dashing, and I launched out of the map. But yeah, it feels a lot like Tony Hawk, just like the skating and stuff. You can feel it. But the only issue is with the combat, I feel like you'd have a better experience with it if you didn't play Tony Hawk at first, because I'm just trying to like skate and do this gap, and there's like all these enemies in my way, and I'm it's kind of hard to mix those two things. But once you get used to it, it's pretty fun.
Like, dude, I'm just trying to nose grind this rail and there's freaking demons in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm watching a video of it now. It looks kind of cool. It seems here where he's just unlocked like a perk or whatever, and it says like choose a trick, and it gives you like 3 different tricks to choose from, and they like do different things, but they come in like the visual of it is a VHS tape.
Yeah.
And it's like that's like a TV, like you're gonna pick this and then plug this into the TV, and that's like the new unlock you just got.
Now, what kind of deck are you using? Is it a Spitfire?
I don't know if they have any like brand names in it. I'm not sure what it is.
Oh man, I was all about the zero decks.
That's a missed opportunity.
That's pretty much the only thing I've been playing other than Mega Man. I've been playing that a lot. It's a lot of fun. It's one of those games where once I died, I'm like, I got to get back in there. I can do a little better, and I just want to keep on getting further. I got past like one of the bosses, then the other boss just completely wrecked me. I was like, all right, I got to stop for a bit. Guys, got anything else before we move on?
Not really.
No, nothing too interesting this week.
Yeah, I haven't been playing much lately.
That's all right. Let's get into it. Let's talk about Megaman The Power Battle. It was released in the arcades in 1995, which means this was released the same year as the Super Nintendo Mega Man 7, so they came out on the same year. And most people probably know what Mega Man is, but in case you don't, it's a side-scrolling platformer. You control this blue robot, or android, I don't know technically what he is. And you just got to shoot the enemies with your blaster to kill them. And then typically there's like themed stages. Each one has its own, like it'll be like ice theme or fire theme, and then at the end you fight a boss, and they give you a special weapon. And before we get into like the actual Mega Man Power Battle game, what you guys got much experience with Mega Man in general? Just like the console games?
Not even a little bit for me. I've never played. This is actually the first Mega Man game I've ever played.
First one ever. Jeez.
First one ever, man. I'm obviously I know who Mega Man is. I think most people, I think pretty much anyone listening to this show would, but yeah, I've never actually played a Mega Man game. Just not really my kind of game, you know?
Yeah, platformer.
I know I've definitely dabbled in some Mega Man, but it was never really like my game. I think I know so much about it, or I guess I don't know so much about it. I think what I know about it is because I believe Skylar loves Mega Man, and he would play these things like all the time.
Yeah, I played some Mega Man back in the day, man. Had it on. I think the first one I played it was on. You guys remember Sega Channel?
Sure do.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it was on the Sega Channel, and it was called the Wily Wars. I guess that was that version actually didn't even come out like in the U.S. Like it was only on Sega Channel, I guess. And it was I think it was the first 3 Mega Man games, but there was 3 different games on there, I believe, that you played through as like a collection. So I think that's the only Mega Man game on the Sega that I remember. I think the rest were like Nintendo or something, weren't they? I want to say they were.
They definitely were on Nintendo. I wasn't sure if they were on both or if they were exclusive Nintendo. I wasn't sure about that.
As far as I know, I think that Wily Wars collection was the only Mega Man game on Sega, and you could only get it on Sega Channel. So I used to play those games all the time, man. I loved it. A couple of years ago, I actually went out to one of our game stores and I bought an old Sega, and they actually had a cartridge of the Wily Wars. It's
nice.
like a reproduction cartridge that somebody just made, because it technically doesn't really exist. They never actually officially made it. So somebody made like a reproduction cartridge of that. So now I have like a physical cartridge of the game.
Dang, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's the first time I ever played Mega Man was on Sega. For the longest time, I thought it was a Sega game. Then I found out it was a Nintendo.
Just got lucky and got the only one that was around.
Yeah, man. I was pumped.
Yeah, I haven't really I played through them a little bit. I don't think I've ever actually beaten one. I kind of hop in, beat a few of the bosses in the actual games. I never actually completed one. I feel like I need to go and play through some of them now, though, after this.
Oh, they're so great. I think that was like my favorite game for the longest time. Anytime that was on there, dude, I would just play that all day.
Yeah.
Plus the music's amazing, too.
Yeah, that's easily one of the best soundtracks.
Yeah, for sure. That's like some of my favorite video game music.
Yeah, I don't got much experience with the regular Mega Man games, but he is my my third line pick in Smash Bros. So that accounts for something.
I don't remember you using him at all.
No, really.
No, I just remember Villager and Ouija.
Yeah, those are my 2 OGs. But
I remember Brad slapping with some Mega Man a couple times.
Huh.
yeah, I pulled a couple of tourney wins with him. I didn't win the tourney, but a couple matches. But
Yeah.
he's the most obscure matchup. That's my counter for Duck Hunt. But yeah, other than that, this is my most experience just playing this arcade game today.
Yep.
Did you guys play I think I had Mega Man 8 like a long time when we were like teenagers. I had that for the PlayStation. Did you guys ever play that? Or was that also just me?
I feel like it was mostly you, and we probably just watched.
Yeah, that's probably a game you guys watched me play or something.
Yeah.
It's the only ones I remember playing. I think I played all the older ones like later in life. Like I played the first 3 on the Wily Wars when I was really little. And then I think Mega Man 8 was my next game I played. And then like a couple of the Mega Man X games or whatever.
Yeah, Mega Man, for some reason, it was one of those games where, like, I'm sure, like, I probably, I definitely, like, tried it a little bit, but, like, I definitely never sat down and, like, played a full Mega Man. So I kind of, like, just dabbled in a little bit, but it was one of those games where when we were growing up, like, I had no interest at all in, like, playing it, but I would just definitely, like, lay on the floor for, like, 6 hours and just watch you play fight through all the bosses.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much have the same experience with it, Kyle. That's right where I am with it. But the biggest difference between the mainline games, like on the consoles that we were just talking about, and the one we actually played for the podcast was I'm pretty sure all the games, you have the stages you have to complete, and then you fight the boss. And here you just go boss to boss. I guess just basically just boss battles only. You fight each one, and then each one gives you a weapon, just like they would in the regular game, which you can use to fight the other bosses. But yeah, there's no stages, which I was hoping there was a little bit of platforming stages before the bosses. I think that would have kind of broke it up a little bit more.
I think Jordan loves the fact that there was no platform.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an arcade fighting game, and I like that way more than the alternative for sure.
It's actually kind of weird. Like as I was playing this, I was kind of missing doing the levels because that's like half of Mega Man is platforming in order to get to the boss fight.
Right.
Like I was kind of missing it. And I remember like when I'm playing Mega Man games, sometimes those levels will be so frustrating that I wish I could just boss rush. Like when I'm playing the games, I want to skip the levels sometimes and just do the bosses. And now that I have all the bosses, I'm like, I kind of want a little bit of a level here. I'm just never happy, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think this is a great option, anyways, for people. Because people have their preference of like they either like this. Some people might like the stages more. Some people like bosses. Some people like a little mix of both. But the fact that now you have an option where like if you want to go play stages, you can go play those. Go play the other ones. If you just want to fight the bosses or like practice on the bosses, now you have that option. Plus, this is like there's getting to be a lot of bosses now in Mega Man.
Yeah.
I could imagine like this game, I don't know, maybe took like an hour or so to beat. I could imagine if you had stages in between all of these guys, I don't know if I would sit down for that.
It'd be much longer.
Oh yeah,
way longer.
Be cross swords all over again.
The way they did it works out pretty good for arcade format, I guess.
Oh yeah.
So this is broken up into basically 3 different games. Each one has a different set of bosses from the mainline games. So you'll go whenever you select your character, then you can pick which game you want to go into. Each one has a set of 6 different bosses, and then as you do in Mega Man, once you beat them, you get their weapon, which you can use to fight the other bosses, and they each have different weaknesses to the other ones, so depending on what order you fight them in, you might have a little bit of an advantage. Did you guys like try to go in any specific order, or did you just kind of go in at random?
Nah, not at all. I really didn't care. I more or less found the weapon that I liked rather than which one was effective against the boss and just try to get the one I like early and stick with that as best I can.
I went like a random selection and barely used any of the boss's weapons.
Wow.
You just stuck with the Mega Buster?
Yeah, I mean, not a choice. It wasn't until later that I even figured out I could use those weapons.
Oh, man.
You gotta press
dude,
all the buttons,
guys,
man. We learned
Guys,
this.
hear me
that's
out.
Man, that's a
Guys,
staple
hear
in
me
Mega
out.
Man. You get the weapons when you kill
I
them,
knew
bro.
that. And they're like, here's a new weapon. And I was like, I got a new weapon. And then the game was starting, like, everything looks exactly the same. There was no button prompt. There's no, like,
man.
emblem, no icon to show that what you have, what order it's in. Like, there's nothing on the screen.
Why aren't they equipping my weapons for me?
If there's one thing that we've learned from recording this show, it's that you gotta check every single button you can at the very beginning because we always miss something.
Well, I pressed, like, the kind of normal buttons you would press and, like, a couple of the button combinations. But this is, like, one of the first times in these games where, because I play all of these on a Xbox controller, and this was, like, the first one where my left bumper was actually the button that like switched through the weapons, and I've never had to use that in any of the other games, so I just didn't press it.
Oh yeah, that's a weird mapping. You think it would be one of the face buttons by default.
Yeah. So eventually I found that, and then it was so late, dude, that I was like, nah, I got this.
Wow.
So you made it through like multiple of the 3 entries before you even realized that, or did you at least find it out partway through like the first one?
No, I can't actually remember when I found it out. I think I probably beat like the whole first one, and then I was probably somewhere in the second one when I accidentally pressed the button and like switched weapons. But at that point I was like, then I had like 9 weapons all of a sudden out of nowhere. I'm like, I don't know what's doing what here and what's good for what, so I just got rid of them and just stuck with the Buster.
Damn. Took the hard route.
I mean, honestly, that the Mega Buster is pretty strong if you charge it up, because you can just spam the button to shoot it like little weak shots, or if you hold it in, you can charge it up, and it actually does a nice chunk of damage using that.
Oh wait, you can charge it?
Oh
nah,
boy.
You're lying.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It didn't do anything.
I was waiting for that though.
No, I charged it. What about you, Sky?
I mean, I use weapons sometimes. Some of them didn't really seem like they were like that amazing. Like obviously it'd be a weakness, but it didn't really seem like it was crushing them. So most of the time I didn't really care to like try to do a specific order because the bosses weren't like super hard to begin with. Like their patterns are fairly easy to memorize. So I always, even when I played the games back in the day, I used the Buster. I just like trying to beat them all without using the weakness or whatever. So sometimes I'd use it, but mostly I just use the Buster on them all.
Yeah, you could get through pretty well just using that. I thought there's some of them were kind of seemed like they were harder to use, and it was easier just to stick with the Buster. Like the shield ones, I felt like were kind of worthless. They were really hard to take advantage of.
Yeah, I didn't really have any luck with like the leaf shield or what is it, junk shield, fire shield, or whatever. But I don't know. The charge buster seems to do like just as good, if not better, than most of the weapons I tried. So I just stuck with charging the buster up.
Dude, could you charge any of the other like boss abilities when you got them?
I think a couple of them in one of the games, but most of the ones I tried, I don't think you could.
Yeah, I didn't see any that you could charge. The only thing I noticed, I don't remember what it was called, but it was like a supersonic, like purple beam that you shoot out. If you shoot it, it like goes off the screen, then it comes back on, and you catch it, it's charged up. I don't really know how much better it was that way.
Was that maybe the noise crush from Mega Man 7? The one you get from the car guy?
Shade Man.
Or Shade? Oh, maybe it was Shade Man. It shoots out like purple rings.
Yeah, it would be Shade Man. I believe
Yeah.
it was his.
Okay, that's yeah.
I don't know, dude. I used the charge shot buster. I forget which boss it was, dude. Maybe we'll get to him and I'll remember, but one of them I like stun locked. Like he didn't even get to play.
Yeah, there were a couple of them you could do that with.
Yeah.
You could do that with the weakness, and I think that I like the fact that like when you hit them, you can knock them out of the air and stuff. And like Kyle said, you can kind of stun lock them if you do it at the right time. So like some of the guys didn't even get to move at all. Like they would jump in the air at me. I would hit them with the charged shot. They'd hit the ground, and by the time they recovered, I either have one ready or they try to jump again, and I just jump up and hit them again. Like they literally didn't move at all the whole fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really didn't use the generic, what's it called? Buster something?
Yeah, Mega Buster.
Mega Buster. I really didn't use that very much at all. For the most part, I would go through like all of the special attacks that I had that I liked, and then just use the Buster if it was needed.
Now the special weapons and stuff that you get from the other bosses, they all had like a limited, almost like an ammo, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you couldn't use them forever.
I didn't know it at first. I didn't realize it until like a later playthrough that they actually recharge on every boss fight, like fully.
Oh.
So you can spam everything, and then the very next level, it's all full again.
Yep. And also, if you die, it gets recharged too.
Yeah.
Well then, I'll be right back.
All right. See ya. We'll redo this in an hour.
Yeah, so knowing that, I would find like the one or two that I really liked, and then just kind of spam them on each boss that I could utilize it on, and then the next boss you'd have it back again. So some of the ones that were really strong, you could just get away with spamming it all, use it, not have to worry about trying to save it or anything.
That's what I did in my first playthrough of it. I was like trying to be conservative with it. Because like the normal Mega Man games, you gotta collect energy tanks through the levels and refill it. So if you waste them all before the boss, like you're screwed. If you're trying to use their weakness or whatever.
The other thing I noticed with whenever you're selecting the bosses, it's pretty obvious that they have more HP as you go. So if you kind of find one you're struggling with, you pretty much want to fight him first so that he has a low HP bar. Because if you save him for last, then you're going to have an even harder time because he's going to have like a massive HP bar. It's going to take forever to finish him.
I definitely didn't notice that.
You didn't notice that?
I had no idea these guys were getting more HP.
Oh, wow.
Got to save those guys that are stun lockable for the last one.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I did too. Not only do they get more HP, but they actually change their pattern. Because some of them, they would do like just like one or two attacks whenever like you fought them like as their first fight. But if you fought them as the sixth fight, they were doing like all kinds of crazy stuff and they were moving faster. So they got way harder as they went on. So depending on what order you guys fought these in, we might have had a little bit of a different experience with each boss, like how you actually had to approach it.
That part I didn't notice.
Yeah, as I always do, I played this quite a few times. So I always try to run a bunch of different like little scenarios just to see what changes what. Some of you guys didn't really use much of the weapons, but is there a specific one that you liked more than any other?
I was all about the super arm for the first stages 1 and 2, and the magnet missile, which I think was part of the second group of stages.
Yeah, those are both pretty solid weapons. That super arm was ridiculously strong.
Yeah, it was great because it took up a lot of space on the screen too. It was a really big attack, and I cruised. I pretty much always got that one first when I did the first set of stages, and I just absolutely cruised through the entire set of stages, pretty much just using that attack. There was even one or two bosses where I was able to take them out before they even launched a single attack at me because of that.
Who gave you a super arm?
Guts Man.
Yeah, Guts Man.
Does anyone know why it's
like
called
a
a
big
super
rock.
arm?
No idea.
You just like launch a boulder out? Why? How's that a super arm? I didn't understand that.
That's what I was looking. I'm like looking at these boss names, and I'm like, what even makes sense that you get a super arm from?
Japanese stuff, man. I don't know. Bad translation.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't use anything. Like, I like discovered at one point that I could, and then like I just didn't. That was it. So I have no idea like what half of these things like look or feel like while you're using them.
You didn't really spawn like a rock with that. I think in the original one, it just let you pick blocks up. I don't think it was actually like an attack by itself. It just lets you like pick stuff up and throw it.
Okay, so just kind of adjusted it for the arcade.
Yeah, it was like a utility move, I guess. Some like in the original games, a lot of stuff's like useful for the levels themselves, like platforming and that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, my favorites were the ones that Jordan was saying as well. The super arm was awesome. The magnet missile was good because it kind of homed onto the enemies.
Exactly.
And my other favorite one was the slash claw. That thing was ridiculous.
That was my least favorite.
Really, dude, that thing is so good.
Hated it because
if you use it right, I've killed so many of these bosses in that last set without them even like doing anything.
I hate it because it's basically a melee attack, and I want to keep as much distance between me and the enemy as I can.
It is, but you can kind of how you stun lock them with some of the other weapons. You can do it with that, and they just get melted so quick.
I think that's one of the few weapons I used.
The slash claw.
Yeah, I like the slash claw, and like you said, that super arm was you shred like every boss in the first game with that.
Yeah.
Once I would run out of that, then I think I'd switch to Buster because I don't really like any of the other weapons.
I think there was only one fight I really took advantage of the slash claw. And that was one of the final boss fights.
Yeah, the big Wily robot, that thing works nice on him.
Yeah, for sure. And the other one I wanted to point out was the Thunderbolt. Like, I think that was in the Mega Man 7 one as well.
Yeah, that one's pretty buff
good.
too. Yeah.
It kind of hits them, and then it like shoots upwards, and sometimes it'll hit them twice depending on where the enemy's at. So that racked up some quick damage too.
Yeah, that one seemed pretty powerful. The shield attacks
pretty much avoided. Yeah, the shields I pretty much just avoided.
Yeah, I thought the shields were kind of cool because you could kind of use them as an up close melee attack and a ranged attack because they circle around your character, and then if you kind of just stand beside the enemy while it's circling around, it'll hit them multiple times. And that was kind of cool. It's kind of helpful in a pinch.
Actually, I'm looking up that damage chart you sent us, Brad, of like all the different games and what weapons hurt what guy.
Right.
And like Slash Claw, like across the board, is pretty much Slash Claw and Thunderstrike are like the best, I guess, in Mega Man 7, it looks like.
Yeah.
They do the most damage to the most bosses. Like, you only need those two pretty much.
I feel like it makes sense that the Slash Claw would be the strongest one because it's kind of the riskiest one to use since you have to get so close to them.
Yeah. And even Thunderstrike, even just one hit, still does the same amount of damage as Slash Claw, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The second hit's a bonus, but the first hit is still really powerful.
Yeah, sometimes I thought it was worth it just to run in and take a little bit of damage because you pretty much can take, I think you have like 8 bars of health, plus it starts at yellow, then you get hit and it turns red. So I think you pretty much have, like 16 hits before you even die?
Yeah, it felt like the HP was pretty generous.
Yeah.
And you refill one every level.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes it was worth sacrificing a hit because I would get it right back if I could kill them within like 1 or 2 hits. Any other weapons you guys wanted to bring up at the moment?
I may have used, I think in Mega Man 1, I did use the Crash Bomber on the Wily, because it has like multi-hit. So that was like the only other one I used on like his first form. And then after that, it was just all Mega Buster.
Oh, one that I will point out is the crash noise attack. That was kind of cool because it's a projectile attack, but if it misses the enemy, it will hit the wall and bounce back at you, and it looks like it'll make you more powerful than the next time you launch it. And that was kind of neat.
Which one was that?
Crash noise. You get it from Shade Man in the third set of stages.
I think that's the one I think that was the one I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, the purple sound wave looking thing.
Yep.
Yeah, you were talking about it earlier.
I think other than just like maybe 1 or 2 in each game, like the Mega Buster was pretty much the way to go, I thought, with charge shots.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, we didn't really talk about what character you played. I didn't know if there was any difference, but you could play as either Mega Man, Proto Man, or Bass. I just pretty much used Mega Man the entire time. Did you guys mess with Proto Man or Bass at all?
I only used Bass the entire time. I never once used the other two. I just thought he looked the coolest.
Yeah.
Having no knowledge about Mega Man.
I used them each, like if I died, I would pick a different one just to see what they did. But after I like cycled through them all one time, I stuck with Bass for the whole thing.
Yeah, I pretty much did base also. I always liked him.
Yeah, the only thing I noticed was they have like different dash animations. I don't know if it changes like their hitbox, but whenever Mega Man, if you hold in down and hit jump, you kind of slide across the ground. Mega Man seems like he gets real low, and then Proto Man and Base are kind of shoot straight forward or kind of hop up a bit. So I was kind of worried that I would actually get hit doing that, but I don't know if it actually affected your gameplay or not. Do you guys know?
Nah, I really never used the dashes anyway. I knew that you could, but I just never really cared to.
I use dash quite a bit.
Same.
Yeah, we definitely used it a good bit on base, which I think base is probably the polar opposite of Mega Man. Like Mega Man's dash, or he's like a ground slide and it's real low to the ground. Base has it's like a little jetpack or something. Like fire comes out of it and he like launches and you actually get like a little bit of height from it. But I never really noticed like using that and then like getting hit because I was like getting pixeled or something like that with the hitbox. I don't know if it actually mattered.
Yeah, I think the bosses probably their distance they jump was probably high enough that either one is fine. Because I don't think I ever really ran into a boss dashing under them.
Might have just been a mental thing, but when I saw Mega Man how low he was compared to the other two, I was like, I'm sticking with him, so I'm not getting clipped trying to go under an enemy.
I mean, it's possible. Well, actually, if I think guys that like shoot projectiles pretty low, like Iceman,
Yeah.
his little icicles. I'd imagine Mega Man might be able to slide under the low one, maybe, but base, I'm pretty sure I dash right into it. So maybe Mega Man can get underneath those. I don't know.
It would kind of suck if there was the only difference was Mega Man was just better than the other two, but I don't know.
Hey, it's his game.
There's always one
Yeah,
that's
that's true.
better.
Well, I mean, Wiley does say that at the end, right? I don't actually know what he says if you played Mega Man, but we played base, and he tells you at the end, he's like talking shit on you. He's like, you'll never be as good as Mega Man.
You're nothing but junk. Or no, I think base said they're all junk or something.
Oh, base was calling all of Wiley's robots junk.
Yeah.
But base is one of Wily's robots, though. He's calling himself junk.
Well, no, he's telling them that they were all junk except for him, that he was all he needed, basically.
Oh, obviously he was awesome, yeah. You guys all suck except for me, obviously.
Yep, that's why he's taking them all out, just to prove he was the only one he needed.
So some of the other controls you can do, like I said, you can hold it down and jump to dash across the ground. If you hold it up and jump, you jump like up really high, so you can pretty much touch the top of the screen. And then you can jump off the walls as well, which is really useful for dodging some of the enemy's patterns. I thought jumping over their head so you can avoid some of their attacks. But I don't know if this is in all Mega Man games, but you can't crouch. Your guy just stands there. Is that what it normally is, Scott? Do you know?
Yeah, and like the original one, I don't know about the later ones. Well, I'm pretty sure at least the first couple, there's no crouch. They added a slide at some point, but I think like the very first Mega Man game, there's no crouching and no sliding.
That bugged me, too. I really wanted to crouch a few times.
Yeah, I think they added that later, but I think quite a few of them it was just normal. You just stand there, and then some games you get the slide, and that's it.
I guess I'm thinking of it now, like through like an older mindset and like playing so many other games where I'm like, if this game came out now, I don't think it would survive because like the limited movement, like everything now is about movement. So like if it came out now, you'd be like, what is this, dude? But back then it was like no one had that movement mindset, so it was probably just fine.
And once you got used to it, it wasn't too bad. Just kind of hard to break that muscle memory of when something's coming at you and it looks like it's head height. You can just hit down and crouch it, but you can't. You just take the hit. It wasn't too bad once you got used to it, though. I didn't think.
That's not something you ever really needed, like in the earlier games anyway. Like everything was set up to where you could just jump over it.
Well, with pretty much this whole game, it's just a boss rush. You just fight boss. Each one giving you a different weapon. Guess to kind of break it down into games, I thought would be a little easier to do it.
That's fine.
Since it's pretty much broken up into 3 different games. The first set, all the bosses are from Mega Man 1 and 2. It has Gutsman, Iceman, Heatman, Woodman, Crashman, and Cutman.
Iceman was definitely the easiest one for me because that super arm, that's the one I was saying right off the bat at the very beginning. You could walk up to him, equip the super arm, and just attack him with it over and over again, and it'll end the fight before he even launches a single attack at you. So that one I always enjoyed doing, and I typically did him last too, I think. So I guess I got the hard version of him, and even so, he went down super easy.
And I thought Woodman was kind of cool to fight, just because he had like it's just an interesting fight, I guess. Like some of the bosses kind of seemed like most of the time they had like one move, and like you would just dodge it the same way every time by like jumping it or something. But Woodman kind of introduced he would like launch his leaf shield at you, so you had to jump over that, and then he would launch like petals from the sky, so you had to like actually like move across the screen to avoid those falling down on top of you, and then he would like roll into a little log and then start bouncing around, so you had to dodge him at the same time. So he was like during that first game, he was the one that was like throwing a couple different things at you at once, which was probably the funnest one.
Mm-hmm. And I do think he was one of the more like recognizable and easier patterns to remember for me too.
Yeah, it wasn't super hard, but it was just cool that I was trying to multitask by dodging multiple things from different directions.
Yeah. The Crash Man fight was kind of cool because at first it's not a moving conveyor belt, but about halfway through, the floor becomes a moving conveyor belt. And also there's like a vent that you can go through that will make you come out at the top of the stage, and that can kind of help you avoid attacks.
I was actually going to bring up Crash Man. I thought his level was kind of annoying because I didn't want to jump in the vents, but I kept running into him.
Yeah.
And it kept transporting me to the other ones. But I think he was probably one of the more annoying ones for me because he would like spam 3 of those little crash bombs at you. And then I get stuck in a vent and I'd fall out and then land right on top of them sometimes.
Yeah, that would happen.
He gave me a little bit of trouble. I played him a couple times to finally get the hang of him. For the first one, I don't know. Cutman, I mean, Woodman was cool like Kyle was saying because you're dodging multiple things and all that. I think the only other one that was fun was maybe Cutman, just because in little cutters, sometimes he'll throw them at you. You jump over it, and on the way back, depending on where he goes, it might change its angle, so you kind of gotta be on your toes with him a little bit.
Yeah, it's like a boomerang kind of thing.
Yeah. So he was kind of fun. All the other guys, I mean, I didn't really see much of some of them because I stun locked them for the most part.
Yeah.
So a lot of them I didn't give them a chance to really do anything. Like Heat Man pretty much got stun locked the entire battle, so I don't even really know what he does in this game.
He was the one that gave me the most trouble, I thought. Heat Man from this batch.
Oh, if you hit him with that super arm, man, he can't move.
Yeah, I got him pretty good with that. I was going to say, I like how Heat Man is literally just a man wearing a lighter costume.
Yeah.
He's just a giant lighter with a head.
Overall, I thought this was like the weakest batch design-wise of the characters compared to the other 2 sets.
Yeah, Iceman just looks like one of the ice climbers.
Yeah, it's like a little Eskimo guy.
Yeah, he just looks like some Eskimo, like just some guy you would see.
They weren't super creative in the first game. That's all they had to work with.
Iceman looks like a guy you would just stun lock in the corner with a super arm.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, I would always take Gutsman first because you get that boulder and just crush most of the guys with that. And like I said, Heat Man, for some reason, he gave me a little bit of trouble. Just the way like he launches these fireballs, they don't come down like straight. They kind of come down like on an angle. And he would catch me with the flames on there was a good bit. It was kind of tricky to dodge, I thought, but I guess I should have just blasted him.
They were pretty massive fireballs too.
Yeah.
Probably wall jump those. I might have jumped over them a couple times, or I think if you dodge near him, maybe because they go kind of far away, don't they? You might be able to dash towards him when he does that.
Right. I mean, I ended up dealing with him by the time I got some reps in on him, but at first he was giving me some trouble.
Yeah, I think it's fun. Like you do a run where you just pretty much use your weapons and stun lock. You can really like have fun with the patterns if you go in there and just do the Mega Buster only. So then they actually don't die as fast. So you got to actually learn it and play around them.
All right, let's move into the next set of bosses. These are from Mega Man 3 through 6. We have Napalm Man, Gemini Man, Gyro Man, Plant Man, Dust Man, and Magnet Man. I thought this was the hardest of the 3 sets.
Yeah, this one had my 2 least favorite characters by far, and that's Gyro Man and Magnet Man.
You didn't like them as far as like the fight, or just like their design?
No, the fight. The fights were difficult. Gyro Man is tricky because he flies around. I think he's the first flying enemy that I fought, but he was kind of tough, and then his attacks can kind of be tough to avoid too. But Magnet Man, oh my god, that fight was the worst because he's constantly pulling you around the stage with his magnets the entire fight, and it can make it really hard to avoid the attacks because you can't move the way that you want to. That was awful. I hated that fight every time.
Yeah, that always feels bad when you fight these bosses that can kind of manipulate your movement a little bit.
Hmm.
So you almost feel like you're kind of losing control. You just can't quite do what you want to do. Like Dustman, right, had that too, and he would try to like suck you in, and if you were too close to him, it would start pulling you. I mean, just to go back to the first one real quick, as far as like that conveyor stage that Skylar was saying about, like that thing was super annoying. Anything where it's like the game is forcing you to move in a way you don't want to it always just feels bad to me. But I get it; it does add the element of like a little difficulty to it. But yeah, Magnet Man sucked to fight. Gyro Man I didn't think was that bad. I'm trying to think of this one. Maybe Napalm Man, I think, out of all these bosses here, was probably the most annoying. But
Yeah.
again, I might have fought him. I can't remember in which order I fought these guys. Like, you know how you guys said that like the HP would get higher the later the fight?
Yeah.
So I feel like Napalm might have been like one of the last guys I fought because it seemed like he just took so long to kill. So maybe
Yeah,
that's
dude.
what that was about.
I had to fight Napalm Man first. That dude is tough. If you fight him last, he is super difficult. He's so fast too, it's hard to even dodge any of his attacks. And he does a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, I must have fought him either last or next to last or something because I do remember like fighting him for a long time. And again, I'm just using the Mega Buster, so I don't know what his weakness is or any of his other abilities do.
I think my favorite one to fight in this set was Gemini Man. His attack can be a little annoying because it bounces around the screen, but he has a pretty easy pattern to learn and avoid. So that one was the easiest fight for me in this set.
Did he have the little laser beam? Was that
Yeah,
him?
it's the Gemini,
Gemini
laser that
laser.
bounces around the screen, which was probably my favorite weapon from this set, so I typically did him first.
Oh man, he was my favorite fight too, but I thought he had the worst weapon whenever I got to use
Really?
it. Yeah, just because the way whenever you shoot something out in this game, you can't change your weapon until it's completely off the screen. So if you shoot that Gemini beam
Yeah.
or laser, whatever it's called, it bounces multiple times. If it doesn't hit something, it's stuck on the screen. You can't do anything else. I'm just sitting there waiting for it to go away so I can switch my weapon again.
Yeah, and it's pretty slow, but it is kind of nice that you don't really have to aim it necessarily. It's going to bounce around and you have a good chance of hitting the enemy no matter what. That weapon really helped me with Gyro Man a lot. Since he's the flying enemy, you don't have to jump and shoot him first. It will bounce around and hit him. And actually my last playthrough of this, I don't know what in the world happened here, but I loved it. So my last playthrough, whenever I fought against Gyro Man, about halfway through the battle, for some reason, he just stayed at the very top of the screen and just floated back and forth from left to right, never once left the top of the screen. And I just kept attacking with the Gemini lasers, and it hit him, and he would just keep floating back and forth. The entire second half of the fight, he never once attacked me. I have no idea why, but it was great.
You forgot you were there.
I guess it was the weirdest thing, but I just hit him with the Gemini laser, and he just float back and forth slowly at the top of the screen the entire second half.
Yeah, I thought Gemini Man was probably my most favorite fight. Just because you're constantly moving and he like jumps up, splits in two, and then they both shoot, so you gotta jump and then keep jumping over him, hitting him, jump over him, hit him, and he'll split, shoot a laser, dodge the laser, jump over him. I don't know, it's pretty cool. It seemed like pretty busy, a lot of stuff going on. It's kind of fun. Like, even though he wasn't the hardest, probably had the best time fighting him. But Magnet Man was definitely pretty annoying.
Oh, yeah.
Doing like that teleport too. So like you're getting pulled on either side of the screen whenever he teleports. Sometimes you get a cheap shot on you. You're on one side of the screen, he teleports over there, and then he just pulls you into him. I mean, eventually you catch on to that, and then whatever, you can beat Magnet Man pretty easy. But I still thought Gyro Man was kind of annoying, just because the screen's constantly scrolling.
Yeah.
And like them little boomerang thingies, sometimes I didn't predict them like as well, so every so often you get like a lucky hit on me. But I don't think this one was the hard. I thought the third set of games, Mega Man 7, was the hardest for me.
I thought the second and third were pretty close.
They were both clearly harder than the first set, but overall I thought
Yeah.
the middle set was harder.
I struggled more on the next one.
Oh yeah, I wanted to say about with Gyro Man, the way whenever he shoots those things at you, like his little gyros when he falls on the ground, he like shoots one real quick. And if you jump over it, then it like follows up after you. I didn't realize that for a while, so I'd keep thinking I'm dodging it, but then it would just keep on hitting me every time. It took me so long to figure out how he was actually hitting me. That one was getting pretty annoying.
Yeah, they shoot up at you.
Yeah.
And you can do that too when you get it.
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. I thought it was kind of hard to utilize, but it was a cool mechanic you could do. And Gemini Man, other than just being like one of the more fun fights, I think he's probably like the coolest character design in the game.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, he's sick.
He was my favorite whenever I was little playing the Wily Wars. That was my favorite robot.
All right, ready to move into the last batch then?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, these ones are all just from Mega Man 7. We have Freeze Man, Slash Man, Shade Man, Turbo Man, Cloud Man, and Junk Man. And like I said before, I would always definitely take on Slash Man first because his weapon was just so powerful.
I think Slash Man, he was pretty cool looking. Like of course, like I said, I didn't like his weapon, but I thought he himself was pretty cool aesthetically.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he kind of reminded me when I first seen him. He kind of looked like Wolverine.
Yeah, or Vega.
He throws out like a little Ric Flair woo every time he comes after you.
Yeah.
So he has like one of the, well, I guess I would say probably the best weapon in that game. And he wasn't like one of the hardest bosses though.
I thought he was, if you saved him for last, I thought he was extremely hard because he moves so fast and he would keep jumping off the walls. And since he's melee, he's always trying to get close to you. So he would like jump, dash, slash at you. And he would, if you saved him for last, dude, he was so quick. I always fought him first.
Yeah, that's another thing, I guess. Like we had different experiences on these guys depending on when we fought them in the game.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting some of the guys I think are easy. You guys probably fought at the end and they were crazy.
Right.
So I probably fought him. I think I fought him pretty early every time, so I don't think he got too insane when I played against him.
Yeah, if you go back and mess around, try saving him for last once. He's tough.
I had a hard time on Turbo Man and Shade Man. I think those two gave me the most problems in the game. I think the other four were easy.
I think Turbo Man was the hardest one. His fire attack's tough to avoid. The attack where he turns into yeah, the one where he turns into a car is easy, but I think the worst part is when he summons the wind, which we kind of said earlier. It's one of those ones where it kind of controls your movement. The wind is blowing and it's hard to get away unless you dash. But I did eventually realize that when he does the wind, I can just get behind him instead, and he's kind of just stuck there for a bit, and I can just get a bunch of cheap hits on him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you had like, it was like pretty pixel perfect that you could get right behind him as long as you didn't like take a step towards him, you wouldn't take damage. So like you could just keep attacking him from behind, but you had to time it right because when he turned back into his car, like his pixels would kind of change from like his standing form to his car form, and if you were standing behind him when he turned into the car, it would actually hit you. So like as he was turning it into the car, you had to jump back out from behind him. But yeah, you could just sit behind him for most of the fight.
I didn't actually know that. I didn't go behind him at all. I just kept like dashing in front of him, trying to get away.
I couldn't get away from him, so I just said, screw it, I'm going to get behind this guy instead, and it worked out.
Yeah, I would just kind of dash away from him like twice, and while I'm doing that, I'm charging up my Mega Blaster, and I turn around, shoot it at him, and keep dashing. You can get like 2 dashes in, turn around, shoot him, and then dash away again, and it's enough to keep your distance. If you're just running, you won't ever I don't think you can outrun him. You have to use like your down jump so you can dash away. It's a little faster.
Yeah, you can't outrun it. The wind is stronger than your run.
Yeah, I thought all of these bosses were easy except for probably Slash Man. But again, I can't remember the order, so I think I may have fought him towards the end. And it wasn't even, I don't even think he was like super hard, but he was like the most mobile of all the bosses. He kind of like definitely kept you like you're trying to dodge a lot, and then like you're kind of just sort of weaving in an attack every now and then if you get a chance. But all these other guys, I think Shade Man, it might have been the first or second guy that I fought, because I remember him like stand out as being like, I killed him like very fast, and I was like, oh, I don't really know what he does. So like we definitely had 2 different experiences fighting that guy. Freeze Man was is he the one that just shoots like the icicles at you?
Yeah, pretty much.
I didn't let him attack, so I don't even know.
I think it was him. And he's the one, I think it was Freeze Man.
He summons him from like the top.
Yeah, I think he got to do like 1 attack, and then after that he was one of the bosses that I stun locked that he just literally couldn't move.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you charge up your blaster, shoot it at him. I saved him for last, because even if you fight him last, he's still not good enough to do anything. You just hit him with a fully charged blast. He starts running. You just get, by the time it's charged and shoots again, it hits him and knocks him back. So he doesn't even get to play.
Yeah. So he did nothing. So yeah, I thought all these bosses were actually not that bad. Slash Man was the hardest just because he was, just constantly like trying to get into melee range on you.
I thought Shade Man was pretty easy because his pattern was super predictable. And once I got that down, it was very easy to avoid pretty much anything he did. And then I thought Cloudman was another one whose attacks were just very easy to avoid. But he's
Yeah.
another one of those ones that has the wind that kind of controls your movement for a bit too, which is a bit of a pain.
Shaman, I must have fought him last or something, because that dude was putting a hurting on me.
Did you try to take him with the claw?
No, I think that's when I was just doing all Mega Buster. Just all
Okay.
charge shots and everybody. His swoop, like when he swoops down at you, kind of seemed a little unpredictable to me. So, like, every so often he'd catch me with that.
I do think that's the hardest attack to avoid.
I think I may have fought him like later, so maybe that's why I struggled on him.
I think I saved him like next to last, but it's because if you hit him with the claw, like the slash claw, I let him come down, and once he hits the ground, if you just run into him, I take like 1 damage, and you just hit the claw attack as fast as you can, he dies. He doesn't even get to do anything. He just instantly. Yeah, dude, you can use like the whole
Wow.
bar so quick. Yeah, I was having trouble with him before I realized how OP that move was on him. Anything else from that set of bosses?
Freeze Man, I'll say Freeze Man's one icicle attack where they line up on the top of the screen. That drove me nuts because I could almost never find out how you were supposed to avoid it.
Yeah, I didn't stick around to find out. I just kept blasting him. He just keeps charging right at you into the blast every time. Doesn't even dodge it.
Hey, you might be the only one that actually fought Freeze Man.
Dang.
And with each set of these, the weapons you get do not carry over. Just to clarify, what you get from each game, like each of the bosses for that 6, once you finish it, it starts back over the title screen. So you can't bring over like the first set of weapons into like against the Mega Man 7 bosses. So they are completely separate.
Oh, I wish you could. I'd be using super armor on everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And then once you beat all those main bosses, you go in and there's 2 final bosses basically. You either, depend on which one you are playing, you either fight the Yellow Devil or you fight like this robot pumpkin thing. And it's I don't really know. Is that in one of the other games that you like a robotic pumpkins guy?
Well, in this, it's in the Mega Man 7 category.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's where he's from. I don't actually remember that in Mega Man 7. I didn't play that one a whole lot. So I'm assuming that guy's, maybe he takes the place of the Yellow Devil, or unless he's like before or after him in that game. I don't know.
I thought like before you fight Wily, you fight either like I said the Yellow Devil or the Pumpkin. I thought they were harder than Wily. I thought Wily was a super easy fight.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Well, the Yellow Devil in the first one was like super easy.
Yeah, that one's super easy.
I think in the second category of games, didn't he have like he split into like mini devils and like some would be on the ceiling and stuff?
Yeah, and he also jumped around, which he doesn't do in the first set.
That one was annoying. But I don't know, I think the pumpkin was probably the hardest one out of every game.
I agree.
Like out of all 3 of the ones in this Power Battle game, I think that pumpkin was like the hardest enemy.
Yeah, his pattern wasn't too hard to avoid, but he like opens up and spawns like 6 different bats, and then you got to try to defeat those, dodge those while he's hopping around and shooting other like these little green balls at you, and that's when I thought it was kind of hard. Without those bats, it wasn't really that bad.
Yeah, because they like run around and like chase you. I don't know if I don't know what the limit is on that, but I felt like there was just always bats like constantly.
Yeah.
And then added the fact that you can only damage them like certain times. I think you can only hit him when he opened up, right?
Yeah, yep. He hops around the screen, then he'll stop, open up, and shoot stuff out, and that's whenever you can attack him. That's when he's vulnerable.
I thought there was some times when I did actually shoot it when it was closed and I did damage, but other times it seemed like I didn't. So I don't know what was up with that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure that. I don't know when else it allows you to hit him, but I always just waited for him to open.
That was the hardest boss like this entire game.
And it seems like you kind of have to jump a little bit to hit the sweet spot to actually damage him.
Yeah.
And after you beat either the Yellow Devil or the Pumpkin, it moves into the final boss, which you have to fight Wily. And he has 3 different forms. He's in like this giant robot machine, and as you destroy it, it kind of breaks apart and it loses a different chunk. So whenever he first comes out, its thing takes up like, I don't know, like 30% of the screen. And it made him such an easy target. You can really just like hack away at him pretty easily without him even hurting you, I thought.
His hands will block the attacks, though.
Yeah, he'll like launch his hands at you. You pretty much can just jump off the wall and it completely misses you. It's like so easy to predict. It kind of comes out slow and it opens them up and you can just spam right through it.
Yeah, his first form was like, I mean, why even be there?
I
because he's doing nothing.
think wall jumping was really useful on that.
Yeah, I was always jumping off the wall for that fight.
Yeah, he would like launch his hand out, like Brad said, and it was super slow. It was easy to get away from. You just wall jump it, and I think like after the attack came out, it like if you wall jumped it and you're landing, and the attack was like on its way back to him, like his hand was retracting. I don't think it did damage there. So like if you landed on top of it on your way down, you were still fine.
I noticed that too.
You just had to dodge the initial lunge. After that, you're pretty much safe.
Yeah.
And after that, it kind of breaks down. It loses like the bottom chunk of it, and then it's just like the floating little spaceship-looking thing with these, I don't know, these spiky little wheels that come flying out at you. I thought that one was a little more interesting of a fight. Like the way he launches them at you, you got to jump over the wall, and then I kind of jump off the wall to dodge it. And you can kind of hit him while you're in midair doing that. It actually kind of felt pretty good. I feel like there's a little bit of skill in that one.
Yeah, it was like a one step up from his first form, but
Yeah.
I still thought it was super easy. And I don't know what weapons you guys were using, but again, I'm just using the charge shot Mega Buster, and it seemed like it only took like a handful of hits to finish that phase.
And the last part of it wasn't hard. It was just you had a time limit. Once you got down to the third stage of it, it's just Wily and like this little capsule thing, basically, and he kind of teleports between two of them. So you got to shoot at the one, and then he'll teleport into the other one. It only gives you 10 seconds to kill him. He doesn't have much HP, and he doesn't really like attack you. He just kind of pretty much tries to survive. So you get 10 seconds to try to defeat him, or he gets away. Did you guys end up taking him out?
I never killed him.
No.
I managed to finish him off twice.
Yeah, I killed him in the first two games. I did get him.
At first, I wasn't able to, because I didn't realize what was going on. I didn't even know the timer was there. It was hard to predict. I don't know if it was just like every couple seconds he went back and forth. I really didn't know what was going on. I was kind of jumping around trying to shoot the one, he teleport to the other, and I wasn't doing any damage. I thought that was as easy as it was. It was really annoying just because obviously you want to finish him. I mean, you made it the whole way to the end of the game, but then he just gets away.
Did it really change anything, whether you killed him or not? You still beat the game.
Yeah, it didn't change anything. It was just annoying.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of dumb how that's like the way you can end the game. Just
Yeah.
get lucky in 10 seconds and hope to kill Wily. Like after all the work you just put in to get into him and beating all three of his forms.
Once I found out like what his biggest weakness was, I would just save that for the very end so I could just spam it and kill him really fast so I didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Did you guys, for the second form, did you guys fight the other second phase, like the bottom half? Because it splits into two. On one of my playthroughs, I fought the bottom half instead of like his floating top half.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know how I did, I don't know what happened, but for like most of my playthroughs, like whenever he splits off the bottom, he floats around the top, he has like those two like spike wheels or whatever.
Yeah.
But one of the times I played through, I fought like his bottom tank half.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that was a possibility.
Yeah, I don't know if that was random or if that's something I did. I don't know why I did that.
I don't recall.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I fought the top half every time.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, there's gotta be. I don't know if it's something I did, a certain weapon, or I mean, I used Mega Buster for most of it. I may have hit him with something different. I don't know what triggers that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So what, it's just like his hands still shooting at you? Is it like the same pattern as the initial fight?
No. It's like after you destroy that first part, you know how the top or the bottom blows up and you fight the top.
Right.
Well, this time the top blew up and it was just like his tank treads and they shoot like missiles at you.
Oh, wow. No, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah. Then that just, after you kill that, it just did the same thing. It led into that third part where you have 10 seconds or whatever.
Wonder what triggers that.
But I only fought it like once. Yeah, I don't know. It seemed random to me.
All right. Guess we're going to move into the numbers segment if everyone's ready.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's see how many credits it took you guys to beat this. This was a little weird to track because each game kind of resets and you got to go back to the title screen. So if you use one credit and beat the whole game, it like starts back over. So you have to use a second credit to beat the second batch. So did you guys just tally them individually or did you kind of do one whole run?
I did both. I kept track of each run and just added them up at the end as well.
Yeah, I did the same.
I just tracked it per game. I didn't really do like a full marathon of it.
Now, everyone, just keep in mind, right, that I only used the Mega Buster. Okay.
It's okay.
I just used Mega Buster. I only did one playthrough.
That's fine.
Nothing crazy, but I got for the first one, which was what, Mega Man 1, 1, 2, 3.
1 and 2.
So what was the second one then?
3, 4,
3,
5,
4,
6.
5, 6?
3 through 6.
No, you're lying.
No,
I thought it was 2 through 6.
Yeah.
no.
First one was just Mega Man 1, wasn't it?
No, it's 1 and 2.
I think it was 1 and 2, then 2 to 6, then 7.
1 and 2, then 3 through 6, then 7.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Forgot how to count.
That's
So,
weird.
yeah.
I thought it was 1 to 3, and then 4 to 6, and then 7.
Nope.
But anyways, the first one took me 4 credits to beat the first one. The second one took me 5 credits, and the third one took me 3 credits. So that gave me a total of 12 credits for everything.
Okay.
Did you kill the Wileys at the end?
Never killed him a single time.
Oh, okay.
Never go to Wily.
That is like a stupid. I don't know why they
It was
did
just dumb,
that.
yeah. I was trying to like charge shot him
Yeah.
the whole time, and like if you miss a charge shot, there's like all of your damage is just gone.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying. I'll jump in here next. I just did them all individually. For the first game, I did it on 1 credit, and I did kill Wily in the first one. The second
Very
one,
nice.
I also did the second set of games in 1 credit and killed Wily. The third one was the one that gave me trouble, so I didn't kill Wily, and it took me 2 credits to beat it. And it was that pumpkin boss that got me.
Yeah.
That was I killed every other boss, all 6 up to him, and the pumpkin guy got a death, or got a coin out of me. So that was the worst I did in the whole set there.
God, I truly hate you guys because I thought I did pretty well in this game, and I'm still gonna be the worst one. I don't know, man. I don't get it. The first set, Mega Man 1 and 2, I did in 3 tokens. I did not finish the final version of the boss on that run, but I did on my previous run before that, which was 4, but we're just counting the 3 token one. Stage 2 took me 6 tokens, and Stage 3 took me 7 tokens, and that one I did finish the final version of Wily. So,
Hey, nice.
grand total of 16 tokens altogether.
Okay. Well, Scott, if I didn't go back and replay it today, I would have been tied with you. I beat the first one, 1 credit, killed Wily. Second one, same thing. And the third one, I eventually beat it in 1 credit and killed Wily as
Nice,
well.
man.
But originally, I did the same thing. I got to, on the last set of bosses, I got to the pumpkin. He killed me with those stupid bats,
Dude.
and then I was like, ah, man. And then not only that, then Wily got away. I was like, damn it.
I know.
So I went back and had to replay it. But yeah, I played this game so much. I love this. This was a lot of fun.
I actually want to go back and just for my own competitiveness, I just want to beat 7 now on 1 credit and kill him Wily.
Yeah, I mean, if you just find like a pattern that works for you and you can pretty much get to the end with a full bar, it's not that bad once you get used to it.
Yeah, it's that pumpkin's the one, man. I thought I was doing so well, and then all them bats coming out. You only get certain opportunities to shoot at him. He's shooting them green balls bouncing everywhere. I was doing so well till that guy.
In the run that I got down to 1 credit, I pretty much used the I forget what it was called, the electric bolt one or whatever. I would jump up. Yeah, I would shoot that like as soon as he opens, and it kind of would stop him, and he didn't really shoot the bats too many times, so I kind of just overwhelmed him with that attack, and it took most of his health down. Then I just switched back to the Mega Blaster.
So that was my problem. I don't know why. Like I just naturally just use the Mega Buster for like everything. So I should just when I get to him, I should just unload everything on him.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of the weapons I think are a little tricky because, like Jordan was saying, you gotta kind of jump up, put damage on him. You can't just like stand ground level.
Yeah.
So some of those attacks I thought were a little harder to aim at him. But the electric one was super easy to use, and it did a lot of
That's what I
damage.
used on him too.
Yeah, I don't think I used any weapons in the Mega Man 3 through 6. I think I just used pure Buster that whole game. But I did use like
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You did the Mega Man Purist run?
Yeah, I don't know why. I feel like I should just use the Buster.
That's what I did for every game.
I did use Slash Man's thing, the claw. And I think in the first game I just used Super Arm for like everything. But the second one was just all Buster.
The second one, the magnets were really good, I thought, against the end
Yeah.
bosses. All right, you guys ready to put a rating on it then?
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Yep.
We're going to rate it out of 19 because that's the total number of weapons you get through the game. That's including your Mega Buster as well as all the special weapons you get. So we'll do it out of 19.
I definitely think this was one of the more fun games we've done for sure. A lot of the games we play, I'm like halfway through it, and I'm pretty much thinking, I can't wait for this to be over. I hope it's done soon. This was not one of the ones. I actually had a good time playing this one. I enjoyed it. I went back and played it more times than I expected to. Definitely glad they took the platforming aspect out of Mega Man for me. I appreciate Capcom for that. Thank you. So yeah, just a solid arcade fighter, basically. Out of 19, I'm gonna give this one a 15.
Nice.
I'm thinking they boil it down to a boss rush, which is cool. I like the option. I got a lot of different bosses. All the bosses are unique in their playstyles. They're all unique in the way they look. I think it's cool, like the whole Mega Man idea of just like killing a boss and then like getting his power and being able to use it is really cool, even though I didn't use it. But the fact that you can is cool. The fact that you can like choose the order that you want to fight them in to not only like get certain weapons that are going to be better for later fights, but also you're actually controlling the amount of HP that they're going to have when you fight them. I think there's a lot of like strategy and variety to that. It didn't take very long. Separating him into 3 different like kind of games was really cool because you could kind of the way that we did it, right, was you could play one and then like get a certain credit and then move on to the second one. And then if you want to get a better credit score, you can go and just play like that specific game. So I'm kind of leaning towards like an 18 out of 19.
Ooh.
Nice.
That's what I like to hear.
That's right.
I like the fact it's pretty cool that it was just pure boss rush. Like, one of the things I didn't like was just the random stage select. Like, you had control over it, but the fact that it's just randomly moving around is kind of dumb. Like, either just pick it for me or just let me choose them take how long I want to choose a stage. It wasn't hard to pick what you wanted, but it's kind of dumb how it's just like a little roulette wheel spinning around. But I understand it's like probably part of their arcade thing, making you fight bosses you're not ready for or something. I thought that was kind of pointless. And the Wily one definitely knocks a point off. Like, why am I going to get to the end of the game and then I have 10 seconds to maybe get lucky and kill the boss? I don't like that at all. But other than that, I love Mega Man. I think it's like one of the best games ever made. Just Mega Man as a whole is awesome. So, if it's somebody like Jordan who hates platforming, but you want to do a boss rush and fight Mega Man bosses, it's like the perfect game to do it. I'm going to give it a 17. It loses 2 points for the Wily and the stage select.
Yeah, that stage select that we didn't really bring up, that was a little annoying. Like you said, you should just be able to pick them. Either let me pick them, like, why's it got to move around all, like, quick, and you got to kind of time it to click it? It was like a mini game itself trying to pick a damn stage.
And it wasn't really hard, it's just inconvenient. It's kind of dumb. Like,
yeah.
You let it go around once, it's not fast enough to where, like, you can time it easily and pick what you want, so why not just let me pick it?
Yeah.
My memory's foggy on the bosses. I haven't played, like, old Mega Man games for a long time, but I feel like all the bosses I think they're the same as they were in their, like, respective games. So I think it is it's pretty much how the other games would be if you played those. I think the bosses have the same patterns and all that. So, like, if you did want to play the older ones, you just have to get through the platforming, and then you already know how to fight the bosses.
Carry over our skill from this into a regular game.
Yeah, I believe so. I think they're probably close for the most part. I'd have to go check. I think they're all the same.
Hey, Brad, bump me up to a 16. I did some math. Math to find a percentage, and 16 felt more accurate.
Sounds good. We'll always take a point for Mega Man.
What'd you think about it, B?
I thought it was awesome. It was my biggest complaints. I mean, kind of already went over. The other one we didn't really say much on was I thought the weapon switching was a little annoying. How clunky it was to kind of wait for the next weapon to be available once you shoot one out. I wish once you shot, you could change it. Yeah, obviously you can't shoot because that'd be kind of cheap if you could just spam a bunch of weapons at once, but at least let me get my next weapon ready so I don't got to cycle through them all.
It would have been nicer if it was in a way where if you press the button, maybe it opens up a small menu where it shows a list of all the weapons, and then you can kind of scroll through and pick one. That would have been way more simple to me, I think.
Yeah. That's how the original games are.
Damn.
Or if they could at least give you 2 buttons to cycle, because in this you're only cycling one direction to pick weapons. It'd be nice to be able to go back if you miss one.
Yeah.
But in general, the game was a little tough at first, but it was kind of easy to pick up and play. It wasn't super hard to really master, I didn't think. You just got to kind of find out a pattern that works for you. There's not like a set way to fight them, but there's kind of like an optimal path to take once you fight your first boss, like which one you should fight next if you want to use the weaknesses, or you can just use your Mega Buster if you want because it was super effective. And the music was obviously amazing, pretty sweet graphics, and I'm gonna give this one my first perfect score. This is a 19 out of 19.
Oh,
Nice,
Let's go.
man.
Yeah, dude, it was so good. There wasn't enough dings on it that knock a point off for me. I think this was as solid as it gets for an arcade game.
The Wily thing didn't bother you that much.
Nah, not because I played it enough, so I figured out how to beat him, and I could pretty much consistently take him out before the 10 seconds. You just gotta save one weapon for him. It's kind of annoying you have to do that, but it wasn't enough to really bother me.
Nice, man.
That's right, we're giving her a 19.
That's crazy. I feel like I should have been the perfect score. I mean, I love Mega Man, but I don't know.
There's a couple things that annoyed you too much.
Yeah. I'm glad somebody else gave it, though. It deserves it.
All right, so we're all pretty high on this game, so where do you guys want to rank it?
Let me just jump in right now and say I'll put it at number 5 and bump everything down.
Yeah, 5 was my first thought.
That's it. This is, for me, this is number 3, but I'll
Woo!
easily do a 5.
Jordan!
Yeah, dude, this game was sick.
Me and Sky are saying 5.
Jordan, that Turtles, man, they ain't looking too comfy up there.
Stop. Well, we still have to, let's see what Kyle thinks here first.
I mean, well, for sure, it's a easy, guaranteed number 5 or above. So since you guys are throwing out 5, I definitely agree. It's definitely at least for me a minimum of
Top
a 5
5.
there. Personally, I would also put this above Turtles. I'm trying to think about this Dungeons and Dragons Tower of Doom. I would put this at 4, possibly even 3.
That's where I'm at, man. It's top 3.
Yeah, I think. All right, I'm gonna land at 3, number 3.
So I'm still feeling 5.
It's definitely at least 5. I mean, I don't know. I could even put this at, me personally, I could bump JJ down for this game. That's just me. I'm just saying.
Oh, number 2.
I could see it being right at number 2. I mean, JJ's it was a good platformer, and it also had boss fights and all that. But like the patterns for Squawkers don't even compare to Mega Man boss patterns at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's more basic.
I'm just personally more nostalgic for the Turtles than Mega Man, and I'm more of a beat 'em up guy than just a standard fighting game guy. So for me, it's just barely below Turtles. That's just me.
Like all the games on here, if I had to pick only like 1 or 2 games to play off this list, I think this game, and then probably obviously for me, Alien Syndrome would be like my favorite. But I easily see this at least 5, probably higher though.
Yeah, it's a solid game. I mean, Mega Man has a huge nostalgic pull too. I mean, it's not this exact one, but just Mega Man in general. We all know some
Big
Mega
name.
Man.
That's what's weird too. Like obviously, I have a ton of nostalgia for it. That was like one of my favorite games growing up. But even if it wasn't, just fighting the bosses are so fun in that game. Like it's all pattern based. Takes a lot of skill and all that, and it's easy to pick up on them and get better at it. So even if you never played this growing up, it's still like an awesome game. You could like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that you get to
Yeah, it
choose
holds
the
up.
order that you fight them in, like, and it actually matters because it determines their HP and which weapons you're gonna get at what point in time. Like you have a lot of choice, I feel.
Yeah, and like I said, not only their HP, but they get faster and they change their pattern. Like they don't start off the same way if you fight them last. So you can have like a whole different experience depending on how you approach it.
All right, I'm going number 3.
Number 3, that's where I'm at. I think this bumps down Dungeons and Dragons, and we sit it at 3.
You're not going to let me put it at 5, are you? You guys can never let me have anything.
So I was stuck between that. I don't know. I was stuck between 5, or I could see it anywhere within like the top 5. Honestly, I mean, I definitely like it more than the D&D game. Some of the games I like, but only for a short burst. Some of them just drag on way too long, and I get bored and sick of it. Like this game, I don't get sick of fighting Mega Man bosses like ever.
If I'm outnumbered here. But if we're going to put it high up there, I at least want to ask if we can put it at number 2 above Squawkers, because it definitely deserves to be above JJ Squawkers.
I'm alright with that. I mean, I like them both a lot, but I'm on board. Kyle?
You want to go above Squawkers on this one?
I mean, that's not my personal spot. That's what Jordan's suggesting, and I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think yeah. So I go like a definite 3, and then it's like pretty close with Squawkers, and I don't know that it's like. I think it's so close for me that like it could go either way. Like in my eyes, right? Like it would almost be like even if we put it at 2 and Squawkers comes to 3, in my eyes they're like both 2. So it's like it doesn't really matter
Right,
one way or the
yeah.
other where that lands.
And
there.
I know Sky said he'd be okay with doing that a little bit ago too.
Anywhere up there, really. 2 or 3.
I can go above Squawkers, dude. We can slot Mega Man at number 2.
I'm cool with it if that's what you guys
I'm
want
fine
to do.
with that. I'm just sick of seeing Squawkers up there, man.
That's still a good game. Come on.
No, it's not.
Great game.
I mean, technically, it's kind of I don't know, more of a game than Mega Man because it actually has levels to it. Also, it's a longer game. Mega Man's more of a boss rush.
Skylar's starting to sound like Wily. You'll never be half the game.
We want to call it there. You guys got any last arguments before we lock it in?
I just want to know who Dr. Willie is.
No,
Dr.
Willie,
Willie.
that's the guy from Bucky O'Hare, the kid in the closet, remember?
Oh yeah, Little Willie. What if he
Yeah,
grows
Little
up,
Willie.
changes his name, and makes robots?
Uh-oh.
And it's all because we placed Mega Man above him on the tier list. Alright, so we got Alien Syndrome 1, Mega Man The Power Battle at number 2, JJ Squawkers at 3.
Yep. I like it.
Cool.
Yeah,
Alright, we're locked
I'm
in.
good with that.
Jordan, time for you to take us into some trivia.
That is me. Let's do some trivia, boys. So
Do
the
it.
scores so far, Brad has 22, Skylar with 29, Kyle with 19. Kyle, today is the day you break into the 20s, my friend.
Let's go.
Question number 1. Mega Man The Power Battle, along with its sequel, were first ported to home consoles in what year? A. 2002, B. 2004, C. 2006.
I'm gonna say 2002.
Okay.
I'll go with 2006.
Okay.
2002.
You're all wrong. The answer is 2004.
Oh, all right.
Rough start. It's okay. Let's make up for it here with question number 2. What is the name of the pumpkin boss that you fight in Mega Man 7 mode? A. Van Pookin, B. Pump Roller, C. Turbo Pumpkin.
I'm gonna say A. Van Pookin.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be highly upset if it's not A.
Okay.
Yeah,
It is Van Pookin.
Let's go.
What a name.
Yeah, I don't know. I just went with some other stuff that sounded like pumpkin, but Van Pookin. I love
You
it.
never carved a Pookin on Halloween?
I love carving Pookins. All right, boys. Last question, number 3. So for this one, I ask that you do not look at your notes. We're going to test your memory. Which of the following bosses is not part of Mega Man 3 through 6 mode? That's the second set. Which one is not part of that mode? A. Dustman, B. Shade Man, C. Gyro Man.
All right, I'm going. Shade Man is not part of it.
Okay.
Agreed, Shade
Yep,
Man.
same thing.
All right, yep, you all remembered. Good memory, boys. Shade Man was not part of 3 through 6. So you all got 2 correct today, and you all got the same ones correct as well. Good job, boys. So that brings the scores to Brad with 24, Skylar with 31. Kyle, you're in the 20s, man. 21.
We did it.
We did it.
Woo!
Good job, buddy.
Mom, if you're listening, I made it.
I'm so proud of you,
I shall
son.
carve a Van Pookin in your honor.
All right, that's it for trivia. Let's close it out. And next game we'll be playing is SD Gundam Sango Kushi Rainbow Turaku Senku. You can follow us on social media at Arcadiology. You can send us questions at arcadiologyquestions@gmail.com. Also, there'll be a form in the description. You can click on that, fill it out. We'd like to read something on the show here. We still haven't gotten anything yet, so if you want to be the first one, go ahead and send us in a question, and you'll be the first one featured here. So that's pretty much it, boys. Ready to get out of here?
I'm always ready to get out of here.
Let's go.
Later.
Love you all.
Bye.